I had the most fascinating conversation last week with my dear friend Robert. At 82, he's sharp as a tack, still travels twice a year, and has this infectious zest for life that draws people to him. But as we sat on his porch watching the sunset, he shared something that stopped me in my tracks. If I could go back to my 50s, he said, there are things I would do differently. Not the obvious stuff everyone talks about, but decisions that seemed small at the time that turned out to be pivotal. That conversation sparked my curiosity, so I reached out to dozens of our viewers and community members in their 70s, 80s, and beyond, asking them a simple question. What do you wish you had done differently in your 50s that most people wouldn't expect? Their answers were surprising, insightful, and sometimes deeply moving. Today, I'm sharing the 6 most common and unexpected regrets that emerged from these conversations, and more importantly, how you can apply these insights to your life right now, whether you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, or beyond. Because here's the beautiful truth. While we can't change the past, understanding these regrets gives us the power to make different choices today. As Maya Angelou wisely said, when you know better, you do better. So let's dive into the first surprising regret that came up repeatedly in my conversations. I wish I had taken sleep seriously as a health priority, not a luxury. This first regret caught me by surprise. I expected to hear about exercise or nutrition, but time and again, our seniors mentioned sleep quality as something they wish they'd prioritized decades earlier. Margaret, a vibrant 78-year-old former teacher, told me, in my 50s, I wore my 5-hour nights like a badge of honor. Thought sleep was for the lazy. Now I understand it was the foundation for everything else in my health. The memory issues and joint pain I blamed on just getting older in my 60s were actually sleep deprivation catching up with me. The science backs Margaret up. Research now shows that consistent quality sleep isn't just about feeling rested, it's fundamental to brain health, immune function, and even how our bodies regulate blood sugar. One fascinating study found that just 1 week of insufficient sleep altered over 700 genes related to stress, inflammation, and immunity. What's particularly concerning is how sleep problems in our 50s can set the stage for cognitive issues later. Dr. Matthew Walker, a leading sleep researcher, has found that deep sleep is when our brains essentially clean house, removing toxins that are associated with Alzheimer's disease. So what can you do today to improve your sleep quality? First, treat your bedroom as a sleep sanctuary. Many of our seniors mentioned wishing they'd removed televisions from their bedrooms years earlier. The blue light from screens disrupts your body's natural melatonin production, and the stimulation from news or shows makes it harder for your mind to wind down. Second, establish a consistent sleep schedule, even on weekends. Your body thrives on routine.
Going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time helps regulate your internal clock, making it easier to fall asleep and wake refreshed. Third, consider a worry journal by your bedside. Jot down concerns or to-do items before bed to prevent
middle-of-the-night rumination. As 81-year-old Richard told me, I spent decades letting tomorrow's problems steal tonight's rest. Now I write them down and tell myself they'll still be there in the morning. No need to solve them at 3 a.m. Remember, it's never too late to improve your sleep habits. Many of our seniors reported significant improvements in energy, mood, and even chronic pain when they finally prioritized sleep in their 60s and 70s. I'd love to know, have you noticed changes in your sleep quality as you've aged? What's one sleep habit you could improve this week? Think about that as we move to our second surprising regret. I wish I had started building my post-career identity before I actually retired. This regret was expressed by so many seniors, particularly those who had demanding careers or whose work formed a central part of their identity. James, a former corporate executive now in his mid-70s, shared, I spent 40 years being James the marketing director. I had business cards, a corner office, and a team that looked to me for decisions. Then suddenly I was just James. I hadn't developed interests or community roles outside work. The first year of retirement was honestly one of the most difficult of my life, not because I missed the work, but because I didn't know who I was without it. This identity transition can be particularly challenging for those in high-status professions or leadership roles. The sudden absence of external validation, structured days, and purposeful contribution can trigger what psychologists call role exit distress. What's fascinating is that the seniors who navigated retirement most successfully weren't necessarily those with the biggest financial portfolios. They were those who had started developing their post-career identities while still working. So, how can you build this retirement identity, whether you're approaching retirement or already there? First, explore interests completely unrelated to your career. Many of our seniors mentioned wishing they'd taken classes, joined clubs, or volunteered in areas outside their professional expertise while still working. This creates neural pathways and social connections that aren't tied to your work identity. Second, consider an identity diversification exercise. Draw a circle and divide it into segments representing different aspects of who you are. Perhaps parent, friend, hobbyist, volunteer, learner, etc. If your work slice dominates the pie, that's a signal to invest in expanding other areas before retirement. Third, connect with retirees you admire. Ask them specifically about their transition. What worked? What didn't? One viewer told me the best thing she did was join a retirement transition group 6 months before her actual retirement date. Remember, the goal isn't to replace your career identity overnight, but to gradually expand who you are beyond your professional role. This creates a smoother transition when that retirement day arrives. I'm curious, if you're already retired, what helped you navigate this identity shift? And if you're approaching retirement, what aspects of your identity are you nurturing beyond work? Think about that as we explore our third surprising regret. I wish I had built meaningful relationships with people of different generations. This regret emerged consistently in my conversations, often expressed with genuine emotion. Many seniors describe finding themselves in what one 79-year-old gentleman called an age ghetto, surrounded only by peers with limited connections. To younger generations outside their immediate family, Clara, a spirited 84-year-old, shared, "In my 50s, all my friends were my age. We were experiencing the same life stage, kids leaving home, caring for aging parents, and preparing for retirement. It felt natural. But now most of my friends are gone or struggling with serious health issues. I wish I had cultivated friendships with people in their 30s and 40s back then. Those would be my 60 and 70-year-old friends now." The benefits of intergenerational friendships go far beyond simply replacing friends who pass away. Research shows that meaningful connections across age groups help seniors stay mentally flexible, learn new skills, and maintain relevance in a rapidly changing world. For younger people, these relationships provide wisdom, perspective, and emotional grounding. So how can you diversify your social circle across age groups? First, seek out activities that naturally attract diverse ages. Community gardens, certain volunteer opportunities, arts classes, or community theater often bring together people from different generations united by common interests rather than life stage. Second, become a mentor, formally or informally. Your decades of life experience and professional knowledge are invaluable resources. Organizations like SCORE connect retired professionals with entrepreneurs or consider mentoring programs in local schools. A 75-year-old former teacher, Helen, told me, "Mentoring keeps me sharp, connected, and humble. These young people teach me as much as I teach them." Third, embrace technology as a connection tool. Several seniors mentioned regretting their resistance to new communication platforms in their 50s and 60s. Those who embraced texting, video calls, and even social media found it easier to maintain relationships with younger friends and family members. As one gentleman put it, "If you want to talk to the young, you need to speak their language." Remember, building cross-generational friendships requires openness and humility. You'll need to listen without judgment, Be willing to learn new perspectives and sometimes step outside your comfort zone. But the rewards, intellectual stimulation, cultural relevance, and emotional connection are well worth the effort. I'm curious, do you have meaningful friendships with people significantly younger or older than yourself? How have those relationships enriched your life? Consider that as we move to our fourth surprising regret. I wish I hadn't waited years to get hearing aids when I first noticed problems. This regret came up with remarkable frequency and emotion. Many seniors described how their initial hearing difficulties in their 50s seemed minor and easy to work around, turning up the TV volume, asking people to repeat themselves, or simply nodding along in noisy environments. But they deeply regret the delay in seeking proper treatment. William, a distinguished 77-year-old former professor, shared his experience with remarkable candor. I first noticed hearing issues around 54, but I waited almost a decade to get hearing aids. I was vain, frankly. I thought they'd make me look old. The irony is that my untreated hearing loss aged me more than any device would have. I withdrew from conversations, stopped attending lectures I would have enjoyed, and missed countless moments with my grandchildren. My wife says I became irritable and suspicious because I couldn't hear properly. What many don't realize is that hearing loss isn't just about missing sounds. It fundamentally changes how we interact with the world and others. Research now shows compelling links between untreated hearing loss and cognitive decline, social isolation, and even depression. A landmark study from Johns Hopkins found that mild, untreated hearing loss doubles the risk of dementia, with more severe hearing loss creating even higher risks. So what can you do if you're experiencing even mild hearing difficulties? First, get a baseline hearing test now, even if you think your hearing is fine. Many of our seniors wished they had documentation of their hearing from their 50s to track changes over time. Most insurance plans cover these evaluations, and some hearing aid retailers offer free screenings. Second, investigate today's hearing technology. It's nothing like the devices of previous generations. Modern hearing aids are nearly invisible and technologically sophisticated, and some can even stream phone calls and music directly. As one viewer told me, my hearing aids connect to my smartphone. My grandkids think I'm the cool grandpa with the tech gadgets. Third, practice hearing healthy habits starting today. This includes using ear protection around loud noises, keeping volumes moderate on headphones, and giving your ears regular breaks from noise exposure. Several audiologists recommend the 60-60 rule, no more than 60% volume for no more than 60 minutes at a time when using headphones. Remember, addressing hearing loss isn't about admitting defeat. It's about proactively protecting your cognitive health, relationships, and quality of life for decades to come. I'd love to know, have you experienced changes in your hearing? If you use hearing aids, what difference have they made in your life? Think about that as we explore our fifth surprising regret. I wish I had recorded my parents' and older relatives' stories while they were still able to share them. This regret struck a particularly poignant chord with many seniors I spoke with. They described a painful awareness of being the last generation to remember certain family stories, traditions, and wisdom, much of which they failed to document. When they had the chance, Elaine, a thoughtful 81-year-old, shared with visible emotion. In my 50s, my parents were in their late 70s and early 80s, still sharp, still full of stories. I always thought, I should record Dad talking about his childhood during the Depression, or I should write down Mom's recipes exactly as she makes them. But I was busy with my career, my own children, and, honestly, I thought there would be more time. Now those stories and memories are gone forever, and my grandchildren will never know their great-grandparents the way they could have. This loss extends beyond just family anecdotes. Many cultures traditionally pass down practical knowledge, values, and identity through oral storytelling. Without documentation, these rich traditions fade within just 1 or 2 generations. So what can you do to preserve your family's legacy, whether you're capturing older relatives' stories or documenting your own? First, Start with simple voice. Recordings. Your smartphone likely has a recording app built in. The next time you're visiting with older family members, ask if you can record them sharing a specific memory, perhaps about their childhood home, their first job, or how they met their spouse. These natural conversations often yield richer material than formal interviews. Second, create a family recipe book with stories attached. Many seniors mentioned that food traditions were particularly meaningful connections to their heritage. Document not just ingredients and steps, but the context. Who made this dish, when was it served, and what memories surround it? One viewer created a beautiful cookbook with photos of family members preparing traditional dishes, along with their handwritten notes. Third, consider a more structured legacy project. This might be a written memoir, a video documentary, or even a private family podcast. Several seniors mentioned using services that provide question prompts and recording assistants specifically designed for capturing life stories. Remember, you don't need professional equipment or skills to start this process. The perfect recording that never happens preserves nothing. An imperfect recording made with love preserves everything that matters. I'm curious. Have you taken steps to document your family stories? Or do you wish you had recordings of relatives who are no longer with us? Consider that as we move to our final surprising regret. I wish I had taken better care of my back and posture decades earlier. This final regret surprised me with how frequently it emerged in my conversations. While many seniors expected some joint pain or mobility issues with age, they were unprepared for how significantly spinal problems would impact their quality of life and independence. Robert, an active 76-year-old who still enjoys hiking, shared, "Nobody tells you in your 50s that the way you sit at your desk or how you lift groceries will determine whether you can play with your grandchildren or travel comfortably in your 70s. Spent decades hunched over computers and carrying stress in my shoulders. Now I work daily to maintain the mobility I have, but I wish I'd been proactive about spine health when prevention was easier than treatment. The spine truly is the structural foundation of our aging experience. Beyond just pain, spinal health affects balance, breathing capacity, internal organ function, and even mood. Research shows that posture and spinal alignment impact everything from digestion to confidence levels. So what can you do today to protect and improve your spinal health? First, incorporate spine-specific movements into your daily routine. Many seniors recommended a simple practice of lying on the floor for 5 to 10 minutes daily on a yoga mat or carpet, with knees bent and feet flat. This gentle position allows the spine to decompress and realign. If getting down to the floor is difficult, similar benefits can come from lying on a firm bed with a small pillow under your head and knees. Second, evaluate your everyday ergonomics. Your sitting position, computer height, and even how you look at your smartphone can dramatically impact spinal health. Several physical therapists recommend the tech neck check, being mindful of how often you're looking down at devices, which puts significant strain on the cervical spine. Third, consider working with a movement specialist who focuses on older adults. This might be a physical therapist, certain yoga instructors, or practitioners of methods like Feldenkrais or Alexander technique. Many seniors reported that learning proper body mechanics in their 60s and 70s significantly improved their comfort and mobility. Remember, your spine has supported you faithfully for decades. Now is the time to return the favor with mindful attention to its needs. As one sprightly 88-year-old told me, taking care of my back isn't just about avoiding pain. It's about maintaining my independence and dignity. I'd love to know, have you experienced changes in your posture or spinal comfort as you've aged? What practices have helped you maintain or improve your back health? Think about that as we bring everything together, as we reflect on these 6 surprising regrets: neglecting sleep quality, not developing a retirement identity, limiting friendships to one age group, delaying hearing treatment, failing to document family stories, and overlooking spinal health. You might notice something interesting. These aren't the typical regrets we often hear about. Most discussions about aging focus on the obvious: saving more money, exercising regularly, or quitting smoking. Those are certainly important. But our conversations with seniors revealed these less discussed, yet equally impactful areas that can profoundly shape your quality of life in later years. What strikes me about these particular regrets is how interconnected they are. Poor sleep affects cognitive function, which impacts social connections. Untreated hearing loss leads to social withdrawal, which can diminish your sense of identity. Spinal problems limit mobility, which reduces independence and opportunity for intergenerational activities. The good news: positive changes are also interconnected. When you improve one area, you often see benefits ripple through other aspects of your life. Take Doris, a 72-year-old viewer who wrote to me after implementing changes based on our previous discussions. She started with addressing her mild hearing loss. Once I could fully participate in conversations again, I felt confident joining a community garden group. There, I've made friends ranging from 25 to 85. One young woman asked me to share stories about growing up in rural Kentucky for a podcast she produces. Now I'm sleeping better than I have in years because I feel purposeful and connected. This ripple effect of positive change works at any age. Whether you're in your 50s with decades of prevention ahead, or in your 80s looking to enhance your current quality of life, small adjustments can yield significant results. So rather than feeling overwhelmed by addressing all 6 areas at once, I encourage you to choose just one that resonates most strongly with you right now. Which one feels most relevant to your current situation? Where do you feel the strongest pull to make changes? Start there with one small concrete action. Trust that this single step will create momentum in other areas of your life too. And remember, it's never too late to begin. Every day offers a new opportunity to make choices that your future self will thank you for. As my friend Eleanor, a wise 91-year-old, often says, the question isn't how much time you have left. The question is how you use the time you have. Before we wrap up today, let's quickly review the 6 surprising regrets we've discussed. Not prioritizing sleep quality, not creating a retirement identity early enough, not nurturing friendships outside, their age group not addressing hearing loss promptly, not documenting family stories and histories, not prioritizing spinal health. Which of these resonated most deeply with you? I'd truly love to know. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And now, I'd like to offer you a simple but powerful challenge. Choose one small action from today's discussion and commit to doing it this week. Just one step. It might be setting a consistent bedtime, reaching out to someone from a different generation, scheduling that hearing test you've been putting off, recording a family story, or spending 5 minutes on gentle spine stretches. Whatever. You choose, come back, and let us know how it went. Your experience might be exactly what another viewer needs to hear to take their own first step. If you found value in today's video, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to our channel. We post new content every week designed to help you live your most vibrant, fulfilling life in these golden years. And remember, while we can't change the past, we have tremendous power to shape our present and future. Every day offers a fresh opportunity to make choices that align with your deepest values and priorities. Thank you for spending this time with me today.